Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now on a recent video, I had unboxed the xTool M1 diode laser. It was a 5-watt laser. I showed you a little bit about the software and let me tell you, that software is so user-friendly, so easy to use. I absolutely love it. Then on the video, I also showed you my first little test projects. I cut, scored, and engraved on a piece of wood. Now in today's video, we're going to take this a step further and we're actually going to engrave on a slate coaster. So if you want to see this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Once you subscribe, click the bell, select the all notification. That way YouTube lets you know anytime I upload new content. So here's what I'm going to use for this project today. I'm going to use these 2 slate coasters. I think I got these at Walmart. I've had them quite a while and they are 4 inches by 4 inches. Let me show you just a little bit more about these. They're real slate, so you can see where the edges start to taper where it broke or where it was cut. And then on the back, they have these little kind of felt rubbery feet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to engrave one, and then I'm going to use the score feature on the other one. Here's the difference. When you use the engrave feature, it fills in the letters or the picture, whatever you're doing. When you use the score feature, it just puts a line around the outside. Now there's pros and cons of each, and we're going to get into that later in the video. But for now, I want to jump onto the computer and show you just how easy it is to use the software. Now this is what Creative Space looks like when you open it up. And it's prompting me to connect my device because right now it's off. You're going to hear me better without that noise going on. Now I've already picked an image from Creative Fabrica, so the first thing I need to do is go up here to Image, click on it, and then it's right here. So I'll click on it, then I'm going to say Open. Now it's too large to fit on my canvas, so I can either choose to have it come in its original size, or I can say scale it to fit on my canvas. I'm still going to make it a lot smaller, but for now I'll do that. So as this file comes in, each of those letters is its own little image. I'm going to fix that in a minute, but the first thing is I don't really like this thing, so I'm going to click off of it, click back on it, and just delete it. All right, let's go ahead and select everything else in here, and of course it's way too large. Now I want this to be more squared. Right now it's very wide and very short. So I'm going to click on this lock so that I unlock the proportions. And then for now, I can just drag this down until I like it. All right, so I like those proportions better. At this point, I'm going to go up here and hit Combine and Unite. Now notice over here, you also have the group feature. You do not want to unite them until you're happy with how these look. So if you need to change anything, for now you can go ahead and group it, but don't unite it until you're done. All right, now I know my coasters are about 4 inches by 4 inches. So let's go ahead and double click on this, and I'm going to change this to 3 inches for now. Since the proportions were locked when I hit the 3, it also changed the height. I think I still want to make this a little bit taller, so let's go ahead and unlock it, and then just drag this. And I think that looks pretty good. Now there's 2 ways I could figure out where to have this. One, I could go right up here to Insert and Rectangle, and then I can just draw a rectangle around it. My coaster is 4 inches by 4 inches. So I'd want to come up here, unlock this, change this to 4, go over here, change this to 4, and then this lets me visualize how would this look on a 4-inch coaster. So that's one way. Now the other way is go ahead and turn your machine on so that the camera picks up your coaster. Let me go ahead and do that. I've placed my coaster in there, so when I turn this on, we're going to visualize this on the coaster. But I'll go ahead and delete this for now. Now I've turned it on. It does take just a minute for it to kind of wake up, do its thing, kind of like me in the morning. But here in a minute, the camera's going to come on, and you're going to see the coaster on the bed of it. Okay, so I have my coaster in there. What I can do is I can click on this and I can drag it. And see those two blue lines? They're saying that it's in the middle now. It doesn't look like it. So let's go ahead and hit refresh. Okay. Now it still doesn't look like it. So I'm going to drag it to where I think it should be. We may have to fix it later. We'll see. Now, when I'm dragging it, if it wants to jump too much, what I can do with it highlighted is I can hit the left arrow. I'm doing that now. It's barely moving. And then I can hit the down arrow to move it down a little bit. Okay, so there's two screens I'm going to work in. When my image is highlighted, this is the screen that you'll see. I have the choices of scoring, which just means it's putting a line around the outside. I can engrave it, notice how it filled in, or I wouldn't cut slate, but if I were on wood, I could cut wood or acrylic. So let's go back to engrave. All right, let's go ahead and click off of this. Now, first of all, I'm using the flat laser. You can also use cylindrical. So if you're doing tumblers, if you take the bottom out of it and you set it on something large, that would be open plane. If you're cutting with the blade or if you're doing print and cut. So I'm using the laser flat. And then look at the materials. And they do have a stone, where is that? Wood coaster. Okay, stone coaster right there. Notice it jumped and now this looks off. We'll fix that in a little bit. Then right here, it's asking me if the height is raised. So you have the options of no, or if you put those triangular prisms in. When you're cutting something, you want to put the prisms in. When you're engraving, it really doesn't matter, so I'll say no. And then lastly, I'm going to have it auto measure. So I'm going to click right here. It's going to figure out really where that laser needs to focus. So it's going to figure out how high my material is and it'll set the focus. All right, notice it jumped again. So let's go ahead and move this to where we think it goes. I'll hit refresh again. All right, that looks pretty good. Now let's click back on what I'm doing. We have engrave. I'm scrolling down so I can see the power and the speed. Now, when you're using a laser, basically factors are height, power, and speed. This is having me use a power of 80, and that was decided by picking that stone coaster and a speed of 80. I'll stay with 100 lines per centimeter. That is similar to resolution of a photo, and then bidirectional. So is it engraving only going one way, or do you want it to engrave going back and forth? I'm fine with bidirectional. All right, let's go ahead and click off of it. I'm going to refresh one more time. I just like to refresh over and over. It looks good to me. So let's go ahead and start. If I wanted to, I could hit framing and I would be able to see the laser going around it so that you see exactly where it is. I'm going to trust that camera and I'm just going to say start. Now it's estimating my time at 11 minutes. I'm going to trust it and I'll hit start again. Then you probably heard it beep and it tells you to look at that light on the front. If it's flashing, it's ready to go. Mine is, so I'm going to go ahead and press it. Now I'm going to leave this screen up just for a minute so that you see the next step. Now it's started and this is what I wanted you to see. As it's processing, so as it's cutting or engraving, you're going to see a green line show up. There it is right there. As it progresses, the green line extends all the way around. So you can kind of get a visual of, am I 25% done? Am I 50% done? Etc. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let this thing engrave. Then I'm going to do a second one where I just score because I want to show you both. I want to talk about the pros and cons of each. Then I'll meet you back over at the table. All right, let's go ahead and look at these coasters. Now here's the first one that I did, and that was using the engrave feature. And the engraving on that is beautiful. I really love it. Now, I didn't place it real well, so I ended up going back and doing one I thought turned out just a little bit nicer. I made the image a little bit smaller and took more time to get it in the center. Now the results as far as the quality of Engrave is the same. I'm super thrilled with that. Now here's what it looks like when you score it. It's just a faint line. Now the pros of this is this took just over a minute. And what did this take? Like 11 minutes? And actually it was a little longer than what it said it would be. So maybe 12 or 13 minutes. For me, I will be patient and take the extra time. I love these results. Then I also did another slate coaster, and this is my niece's business's logo, Butter and Blooms, and I scored that. Again, it's okay, but it is nothing like the Engrave. So in the end, excellent results. You see it very, very well. Takes a decent amount of time. You don't see this as well. It's super fast. As for me, I'm probably going to go with this one every time. So thanks so much for joining me. If you're interested, I will have a link in the video description. Now, I'm hoping to do some 10-watt content soon. As far as these go, this 5-watt did its job. So thanks so much for joining me, and until my next video, bye-bye.